Good day, I'm Steve Robertson. We're standing on land which will be used, if all the procedures go through, for a new sports stadium. But former Councillor Terry Andrews is very concerned about this. Terry, what are the problems that you see that could happen? Why a sports stadium may not be the best choice for this spot?
I have nothing against a sports stadium. What I am against, and I think everybody in Victor Harbor should be against, is a public-private enterprise. Remember, when you deal with the private companies, etc., they need to make 10 to 12% profit per year. To give them a 99-year lease or whatever it is over this land will mean that the people in Victor Harbor will be having to help pay their profits and their shareholders. Who is this company? Is it an Australian company? Is it an overseas company with a shell company in Australia that is going to say, oh, this is this, this is this? The council has to be stopped, full stop.
Now, would you be in favour of the idea of council building this using ratepayers' money?
Yes.
Why so? What's the need for it in your view?
Let me turn around and say this. The local association, sporting associations, sporting groups have come together and they, I'm sure, are not in favour of this. What we need to do is say, let's look at us doing it. Ratepayers, sporting associations coming together and working for the good of the community. It is unbelievable to let private enterprise dictate what is going to happen over the next 99 years. That's not just me and you. That is our children and our children's children. We're going to leave them paying the profits or paying money to make the profits for these overseas companies and Australian shell companies.
But if it takes a private company to do the job, if that's the only way to do it, why oppose it?
Well, first and foremost, it doesn't. The local association has got its own ideas of what it wants to have happen, and it's gone out and done costings. Our local council down here and the councillors who voted for this should be ashamed, absolutely ashamed. And quite frankly, I am ready and really angry about this situation. As you can see, I've been in council for 42 years, on and off in different places, and worked with councils, with development boards, etc. And this is the worst deal that I have ever seen.
People have been using the phrases reckless indifference and even possibly malfeasance with regard to the decision here. Is it that serious, really?
Absolutely, absolutely. The last chance the public have is to say no to the transfer of this land so that it can be sold, given on a lease to private enterprise. The public has to say no on all the council forms about this, and quite frankly, if they don't, then they are giving their children and their children's children a major headache. Okay?
You've mentioned obviously there's very strong opposition. What has happened in your career in public service that has led you to be so against public-private partnerships?
Well,
and how long have you been doing this sort of thing?
Look, I've been a director of a company. We need to make profits for our shareholders. That's normal. You know, that is private enterprise. The benefit by not going to private enterprise is that council stays in control, and the ratepayers are the people that will benefit from it, not the private company shareholders and of course the administration staff. That private companies have to make, as I say, 10%, 11% per year profit on their money. So you can imagine how much money they are rubbing their hands and saying, you stupid little so-and-sos. No, honestly, I mean, unbelievable. You'll never get any government grants for this because it's private enterprise.
Is the decision already hard and fast, or is there any way that the public, if they feel agree with you, that they can make this a different outcome?
The public can make it a different outcome by voting no on the change of land use.
How does that work?
Okay, we just have to put a notice into the council on their forms and say that we want a change of land use or we don't want a change of land use. What I am saying, every person who's a ratepayer in Victor Harbor needs to say no, we don't want a change of land use. It's already cost us money with governments, with private enterprise, and the idea that private enterprise is going to give the people something, mate, they are rubbing their hands.
So what are you doing to enlist public support to oppose this plan?
From the 27th of May, we'll be holding public forums in the Gospel Centre. This will give us the opportunity and the public the opportunity to come along here and see for themselves the questions that this council should have asked when this started off, and they didn't, because quite frankly there's only a couple of councillors that have the expertise that really need the idea of going through contracts and seeing the clauses that are in there. I bet you a bottom dollar that it'll be no rates on this land for the next 99 years. You check it out when it comes through, because that's the sort of thing private enterprise will do. You've got to, sorry mate, but you've got to turn around and say no. If you don't, unfortunately your children and your children's children are going to have to cop the money.
Terry Andrews, thanks very much. South Coast Television, your community, your voice.